Are you tired of feeling walked all over, exhausted from constantly putting others before yourself? It's time to wake up and realize that being soft isn't always the answer. In fact, it might be holding you back from reaching your true potential. I'm here today to tell you why it's crucial to stop being soft to everyone and start prioritizing yourself. This isn't about becoming cold or uncaring, it's about finding the strength within you to stand up for what you deserve. Let me ask you this, how many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How often have you sacrificed your own dreams and aspirations to please others? It's time to break free from that cycle of self-sacrifice and start living life on your own terms. Now, I know what you're thinking, but isn't being kind and accommodating a good thing? And you're right to an extent. Kindness is a virtue, but there's a fine line between being kind and being a doormat. Today, we're going to explore that line and learn how to walk it with confidence and purpose. I want you to picture a tree for a moment, a strong, sturdy oak that's weathered countless storms. Do you think that tree grew to be so mighty by bending to every gust of wind? No, it stood its ground, developing deep roots and a thick trunk. That's what we're here to do today, to help you grow into the mighty oak you were meant to be. But let me be clear, this isn't about becoming hard-hearted or callous. It's about developing a core of inner strength that allows you to be truly generous and kind from a place of abundance, not from a place of fear or obligation. I want you to repeat after me, I am worthy of respect. I am deserving of love. My needs matter. Say it again, louder this time. Feel those words resonating in your chest. That's the truth of who you are, and it's time to start living from that truth. Now let's talk about why we fall into the trap of being too soft. Often it stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection or abandonment. We think that if we just please everyone, if we never ruffle any feathers, we'll be safe. We'll be loved. But here's the harsh reality: by trying to please everyone, we end up pleasing no one, least of all ourselves. Think about the people you admire most in your life. The ones who've made a real difference in the world. Were they people pleasers? Did they tiptoe around afraid to offend anyone? No, they were individuals with conviction, with passion, with the courage to stand up for what they believed in. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't change the course of history by being soft. Neither did Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela or any of the great leaders who've shaped our world. They had an unshakable core of strength that allowed them to face adversity with grace and determination. That's what I want for you. That unshakable core. That inner strength that radiates out into every aspect of your life. So how do we cultivate this strength? It starts with self-awareness. You need to get clear on your values, your boundaries, and your goals. What truly matters to you? What are you no longer willing to tolerate in your life? Write these things down. Make them concrete. Because once you know what you stand for, it becomes much easier to stand your ground. Next, we need to work on your self-talk. That little voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you don't deserve better, that you should just go along to get along, we need to silence that voice. Replace it with affirmations of your worth. Every morning when you wake up, look in the mirror and say, I am valuable. I am strong. I deserve respect. It might feel silly at first, but I promise you these words will start to sink in. They'll become your new truth. Now let's talk about the art of saying no. This is where many of us struggle. We've been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish, that it makes us bad people. But here's the truth: saying no to things that don't serve you allows you to say yes to the things that do. Think about it this way: every time you say yes to something you don't really want to do, you're saying no to something else. Maybe you're saying no to time with your family, or time to pursue your passions, or simply time to rest and recharge. So the next time someone asks you to do something, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this aligned with my values and goals? Do I have the time and energy for this? If the answer is no, then politely decline. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might worry about disappointing people. But remember this: those who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. And those who don't, well, they're not worth your energy anyway. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but what if I need to be soft sometimes? What if there are situations where it's better to yield and you're absolutely right? There's a time and place for softness, for compromise, for putting others first. The key is to choose when to be soft rather than defaulting to it out of fear or habit. It's about being intentional with your energy and your compassion. Think of it like martial arts. A skilled martial artist knows when to be as solid as a rock and when to flow like water. They have the strength to stand their ground when necessary, but also the flexibility to adapt when the situation calls for it. That's the kind of strength I want you to cultivate. The strength that comes from knowing yourself, valuing yourself, and making conscious choices about how you interact with the world. Now let's talk about the benefits of developing this inner strength. When you stop being soft to everyone, when you start standing up for yourself and your needs, amazing things start to happen. First, your relationships improve. It might seem counterintuitive, but when you set clear boundaries and communicate your needs, you actually create the space for deeper, more authentic connections. People respect you more. They know where they stand with you. And the relationships that can't withstand your newfound strength, those are relationships you're better off without. Second, your self-esteem skyrockets. Every time you honor your own needs and boundaries, you're sending a powerful message to yourself: I matter. My feelings are valid. My needs are important over time. This builds into an unshakable sense of self-worth. Third, you become more effective in every area of your life. When you're not constantly drained by the demands of others, when you're not spread thin trying to please everyone, you have more energy to focus on your goals and dreams. You become more productive, more creative, more alive. But I won't sugarcoat it, this journey isn't easy. There will be challenges along the way. People who are used to your softness might push back when you start setting boundaries. You might feel guilty or selfish at first. That's okay. That's normal. Growth is often uncomfortable. But I promise you it's worth it. The discomfort is temporary, but the strength you're building will last a lifetime. So how do we navigate these challenges? First, start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire personality overnight. Begin by setting one small boundary or saying no to one small request that you would usually agree to out of obligation. Notice how it feels. Notice the sky doesn't fall. Notice that you survive and maybe even thrive in the face of that small act of self-respect. Then, gradually you can start to expand, take on bigger challenges, stand up for yourself in more significant ways. With each step, you'll be building that inner strength, that unshakable core. Remember, this is a journey. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you slip back into old patterns. That's okay. Be gentle with yourself when this happens. Recognize it, learn from it, and then recommit to your path of strength. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but I'm naturally a soft person. I'm empathetic and caring. I don't want to lose that part of myself, and I want to be very clear, this isn't about changing who you are at your core. It's about adding to who you are. Your softness, your empathy, your caring nature, these are beautiful qualities. The world needs more of them, not less. But these qualities are most powerful when they come from a place of strength, not from a place of fear or obligation. Think about it this way: when you're secure in yourself, when you have strong boundaries, you're actually able to be more genuinely compassionate. You're giving from your overflow, not depleting yourself. You're choosing to be kind, not feeling forced to be. This is the paradox of strength that allows for a deeper, more authentic softness. When you're no longer being soft out of fear or habit, but out of genuine choice, your kindness becomes a powerful force for good in the world. So how do we put all of this into practice? Let's talk about some concrete steps you can take to start building your inner strength today. First, start your day with intention. Before you get out of bed, take a few moments to connect with yourself. Ask yourself, what do I need today? What are my priorities? How can I honor myself while still showing up for others? This simple practice helps you start your day from a place of self-awareness and self-respect. It sets the tone for making conscious choices rather than just reacting to whatever comes your way. Next, practice the pause. Whenever someone makes a request of you, whenever you feel the urge to automatically say yes or to put someone else's needs before your own, pause. Take a deep breath. Give yourself the space to check in with your own feelings and needs before responding. This pause is powerful. It's the moment where you reclaim your power to choose rather than just reacting out of habit. Third, start expressing your needs and feelings more openly. Many of us who struggle with being too soft have a habit of bottling up our true feelings to avoid conflict or disappointment, but this only leads to resentment and burnout. Practice saying things like, I feel or I need it might feel uncomfortable at first, but remember, your feelings and needs are valid. Expressing them is not selfish, it's an essential part of healthy relationships and a healthy life. Fourth, learn to recognize and challenge your people-pleasing thoughts. When you find yourself thinking things like, I have to do this or they won't like me or I can't say no, it would be rude, stop and question these thoughts. Are they really true? What's the worst that could happen if you did say no? Often we'll find that our fears are exaggerated and the consequences of setting boundaries are far less severe than we imagine. Fifth, celebrate your wins. Every time you successfully set a boundary, every time you honor your own needs, take a moment to acknowledge it. Give yourself a mental pat on the back. This positive reinforcement helps to rewire your brain, making it easier to stand up for yourself in the future. Now, let's talk about the long-term vision. Imagine yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, having fully embraced this journey of strength. Who are you? How do you carry yourself? How do you carry yourself? How do your relationships look? How does it feel to move through the world with this unshakable core of self-respect and self-worth? Hold on to that vision. Let it inspire you on the tough days. Let it remind you why this journey is so important. Because here's the truth, the world needs you to be strong. It needs you to stand in your power, to speak your truth, to live authentically. When you do this, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon of strength and authenticity in a world that desperately needs both. Think about the ripple effects of your strength. When you stand up for yourself, you're also standing up for others who might not have found their voice yet. When you set healthy boundaries, you're modeling what healthy relationships look like. When you honor your own needs and dreams, you're showing others that it's okay, no, it's essential to do the same. This is how we change the world one person at a time, starting with ourselves. So I challenge you today, start your journey towards strength. Take that first step, however small it might be. Say no to something that doesn't serve you. Express a need you've been hiding. Set a boundary you've been afraid to set. And as you do, remember this, your worth is not determined by how much you do for others. Your value doesn't come from how likable or accommodating you are. Your worth is inherent. It's unchanging. It's there, waiting for you to recognize and claim it. You are strong. You are worthy. You are enough, exactly as you are. But you are also capable of growth, of transformation, of becoming an even more powerful version of yourself. And that journey starts now with the decision to stop being soft to everyone and start honoring your own strength. It won't always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments of fear, moments when you'll be tempted to slip back into old patterns. In those moments, I want you to remember this: courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway. Every time you choose strength over softness, every time you honor your own needs, every time you set a boundary, that's an act of courage. And with each act of courage, you grow stronger. I think of it like building a muscle. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, even painful, but with consistent effort, that muscle grows stronger. It becomes capable of lifting heavier weights, of enduring greater challenges. Your inner strength is no different. Each time you exercise it, it grows. Each time you choose to stand up for yourself, to honor your own needs and boundaries, you're building that strength. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. Now, I want to address something important. As you embark on this journey of strength, you might encounter resistance not just from others, but from yourself. You might hear that inner critic piping up, telling you you're being selfish, that you're not being nice, that you should just go back to your old ways of people-pleasing. When this happens, and it will happen, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath. And remind yourself of why you're on this journey. Remind yourself of the cost of constant softness, the exhaustion, the resentment, the lost opportunities. Remind yourself of the benefits of strength, the improved relationships, the increased self-esteem, the ability to truly make a difference in the world. Then, with compassion for yourself, recommit to your path. Remember, this isn't about becoming hard or uncaring. It's about becoming whole, becoming authentically you. As you move forward, I want you to pay attention to the small victories. Celebrate every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values. Acknowledge every time you express a need or set a boundary. These might seem like small things, but they're the building blocks of your new, stronger self. And here's something amazing you'll start to notice as you become stronger, as you start honoring your own needs and boundaries, you'll actually become more capable of genuine kindness and compassion. Because now when you choose to be soft, to be giving, it's coming from a place of strength and authenticity, not from fear or obligation. This is the beautiful paradox of strength that allows for a deeper, more meaningful softness. When you're secure in yourself, when you know your own worth, you can be truly generous without depleting yourself. You can love without losing yourself. You can give without resentment. Imagine the quality of your relationships when they're built on this foundation of strength. Imagine the depth of your connections when you're showing up as your full, authentic self. Imagine the impact you can have on the world when you're operating from a place of power and purpose. This is what awaits you on the other side of this journey. This is why it's so crucial to stop being soft to everyone and start honoring your own strength. Now, I want to give you a powerful tool to use as you move forward. It's a simple question, but it can be transformative. Whenever you're faced with a decision, whenever you feel that old urge to default to softness, ask yourself this: what would someone who truly loves themselves do in this situation? This question cuts through the noise. It bypasses the people-pleasing impulses and the fear-based reactions. It connects you directly with your highest self, the part of you that knows your true worth. And here's the thing: when you act from this place of self-love, you not only honor yourself, but you also set the stage for more authentic, more fulfilling relationships with others. Because when you love and respect yourself, you teach others how to love and respect you too. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a vision. Close your eyes for a moment if you're comfortable doing so. Imagine yourself a year from now having committed to this journey of strength. See yourself standing tall, radiating confidence and self-assurance. Feel the peace that comes from knowing your own worth, from honoring your own needs and boundaries. Picture the quality of your relationships deeper, more authentic, more fulfilling than ever before. See yourself making choices from a place of strength and self-love, no longer controlled by the need to please everyone. Feel the freedom that comes with this. The energy, the aliveness. This is not just a fantasy. This is a real possibility for you. It's waiting for you on the other side of this journey. So as you leave here today, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. A commitment to honor your own strength. A commitment to love yourself fiercely and unapologetically. A commitment to stop being soft to everyone and start standing in your power. My friends, I want to talk to you today about a topic that can truly transform your life in profound ways: the power of silence. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Silence, really? In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and chatter, how can being quiet possibly make a difference? Well, I'm here to tell you that learning when to hold your tongue can be one of the greatest skills you can ever develop. You see, throughout our lives, we encounter countless situations that test our patience, challenge our beliefs, and provoke us to speak our minds. But what if I told you that in many of these moments, the wisest course of action is to simply remain silent? It may sound counterintuitive, but trust me when I say that choosing not to speak can often speak volumes. Picture this: you're at work, and a colleague makes a snide comment about your latest project. Your blood starts to boil, and you can feel a scathing retort rising in your throat. But then something stops you. A small voice inside whispers, "Hold on, take a breath. Is this really worth your energy?" And so you swallow your words and let the moment pass. Later, you find out that your colleague was going through a tough time personally and lashed out unintentionally. By choosing not to engage, you avoided a potential conflict and showed compassion instead. Or maybe you're scrolling through social media and you come across a post that really grinds your gears. You start typing out a heated response, ready to give that person a piece of your mind. But then you hesitate. You realize that arguing with a stranger online is unlikely to change their perspective, and it might just leave you feeling drained and frustrated. So you delete your comment and move on, preserving your peace of mind. These are just a couple of examples, but the truth is there are countless situations in life where silence can be your greatest ally. When you're tempted to gossip about someone behind their back, bite your tongue. When you're in the middle of a heated argument with your partner, take a step back and give yourself a moment to cool down before speaking. When you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, turn off the noise around you and sit in quiet contemplation. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but if I don't speak up, won't people think I'm weak or passive? And to that, I say absolutely not. In fact, it takes incredible strength and self-control to hold your tongue when every fiber of your being is urging you to lash out. It's a sign of maturity, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. Think about some of the most influential figures throughout history, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, and Nelson Mandela. These individuals all understood the power of silence. They knew that sometimes the most profound statements are made without uttering a single word. By remaining calm and composed in the face of adversity, they were able to make a lasting impact on the world. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always stay silent. There are certainly times when speaking up is necessary and important, especially when it comes to standing up for what's right or advocating for those who can't advocate for themselves. But the key is to learn how to discern when your words will truly make a difference, and when it's better to hold your peace. So how can you start incorporating more silence into your own life? Well, the first step is to practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions and learn to observe them without getting caught up in them. When you feel the urge to speak, take a moment to ask yourself, is this something that really needs to be said? Will my words improve the situation, or could they potentially make things worse? Another helpful strategy is to cultivate a sense of inner peace and calm. This might mean practicing meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection. The more centered and grounded you feel within yourself, the easier it will be to stay composed and clear-headed in challenging situations. It's also important to remember that silence doesn't always mean disengagement or indifference. Sometimes the most powerful way to show someone you care is simply by being present with them, listening attentively, and offering a compassionate ear. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chatter, the gift of your undivided attention can be incredibly meaningful. Now, I know that cultivating silence isn't always easy. We live in a society that often equates being vocal with being powerful, and it can be tempting to want to make our voices heard at every turn. But the truth is, there's a deep strength and wisdom in knowing when to hold your tongue. It's a skill that can help you navigate even the most challenging situations with grace and poise. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to speak up, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this something that truly needs to be said? Could my words potentially cause harm or escalate the situation? Or might it be better to simply take a step back and observe? Remember, silence is not weakness, it's not passivity or indifference. Rather, it's a powerful tool that can help you cultivate inner peace, build stronger relationships, and navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chaos, the ability to find stillness and quiet within yourself is a true gift. It allows you to tap into a deeper sense of wisdom and intuition, and to approach life with a greater sense of purpose and intentionality. So, my friends, I encourage you to start embracing silence in your own lives. Start small, if you need to. Take a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection, or challenge yourself to hold your tongue in a situation where you might normally speak up. Pay attention to how it feels and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective. Over time, you may find that cultivating silence becomes easier and more natural. You may start to feel a greater sense of inner peace and clarity, and you may find that your relationships and interactions with others begin to improve as well. Remember, the power of silence isn't about suppressing your voice or denying your truth. Rather, it's about learning to use your words wisely and intentionally, and about cultivating a deep sense of inner stillness that can guide you through even the most turbulent of times. So let's dive a little deeper into each of these situations where silence can be so transformative. First, let's talk about those moments when you're faced with criticism or negative feedback. It's natural to feel defensive in these situations, to want to justify yourself or prove the other person wrong. But more often than not, responding reactively only escalates the tension and makes the situation worse. Instead, try taking a deep breath and giving yourself a moment to pause before responding. Use that silence to really listen to what the other person is saying without judgment or interruption. Try to understand where they're coming from, even if you don't necessarily agree with their perspective. By holding your tongue and creating that space for listening and reflection, you give yourself the opportunity to respond from a place of greater clarity and wisdom. You may find that the criticism isn't as personal as you initially thought, or that there's actually some truth to what the other person is saying that you can learn and grow from. And even if the feedback is entirely unfounded or mean-spirited, by choosing not to engage reactively, you maintain your own sense of dignity and self-respect. You communicate through your silence that you refuse to be pulled down to the level of pettiness or negativity. Next, let's consider those moments when you're tempted to gossip or speak badly about someone behind their back. It can be so tempting to join in when others are sharing juicy stories or complaints, to feel like you're part of the in-group by participating in the chatter. But gossip is a dangerous game, one that can quickly spiral out of control and cause real harm to the person being talked about. Even if you don't mean any malice, your words can take on a life of their own and create ripple effects that you never intended. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where gossip is being shared, try choosing silence instead. You don't have to necessarily confront the people speaking or make a big show of your disapproval. Simply excuse yourself from the conversation or change the subject to something more positive. By refusing to participate in negative talk, you send a powerful message about your own values and integrity. You communicate that you won't be a part of tearing others down, even in subtle ways. And who knows? Your silence may just inspire others to reconsider their own words and actions. Another situation where silence can be incredibly powerful is when you're in the midst of a heated argument or disagreement. It's so easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to feel like you need to prove your point or defend your position at all costs. But more often than not, arguing rarely leads to any kind of productive resolution. It just leads to more anger, more hurt feelings, and more entrenched positions on both sides. Instead, try taking a step back and giving yourself some space to cool down before engaging further. Use that silence to really reflect on what's being said and to consider the other person's perspective with an open mind. You may find that when you approach the conversation from a place of greater calm and clarity, you're able to communicate your own needs and opinions more effectively. You may also be more receptive to finding a compromise or solution that works for everyone involved. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always back down or avoid conflict altogether. There are certainly times when it's important to stand your ground and advocate for yourself or others. But by choosing your battles wisely and approaching disagreements with a spirit of openness and compassion, you'll be much more likely to find a resolution that truly serves everyone's best interests. Another powerful way that silence can transform your life is by helping you cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and self-awareness. In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and stimulation, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity and lose touch with your own inner voice. By carving out time each day for silent reflection or meditation, you give yourself the opportunity to tune out the external chatter and tune into your own thoughts and feelings. You create a sacred space where you can simply be present with yourself without judgment or expectation. At first, this practice may feel uncomfortable or even boring. Your mind may wander or resist the stillness, but over time, as you continue to show up for yourself in this way, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your awareness and perspective. You may find that you're able to observe your own thoughts and emotions with greater clarity and detachment rather than getting caught up in them. You may start to feel a deeper sense of connection to your own inner wisdom and intuition, and a greater trust in your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. This inner stillness can be a powerful anchor in times of stress or uncertainty, a reminder that no matter what's happening in the external world, you always have a place of calm and stability within yourself to return to. And as you continue to cultivate this practice of silent reflection, you may find that it starts to ripple out into other areas of your life as well. You may become more patient and present in your relationships, more focused and intentional in your work, more attuned to the beauty and wonder of the world around you. In fact, some of the greatest creative minds throughout history have relied on silence as a tool for tapping into their own inner genius. Artists, writers, and innovators like Pablo Picasso, Virginia Woolf, and Albert Einstein all spoke about the importance of solitude and quiet contemplation in their creative process. By giving yourself the gift of silence, you open yourself up to new possibilities and insights that may have been drowned out by the noise of daily life. You create the space for your own unique voice and vision to emerge, unencumbered by the expectations or opinions of others. Of course, cultivating silence isn't always easy, especially in a world that's so often geared towards constant stimulation and distraction. It can be tempting to fill every moment with noise and activity, to seek out external validation and approval at every turn. But the more you're able to resist those temptations and carve out even small moments of silence for yourself, the more you'll start to reap the benefits in your own life. You'll find that you're able to approach challenges with greater clarity and resilience, to communicate more effectively and compassionately with others, to tap into your own inner wisdom and creativity. And perhaps most importantly, you'll start to feel a greater sense of peace and contentment within yourself, a deeper knowing that you have everything you need within you to navigate whatever life may bring. So, my friends, I encourage you to start experimenting with silence in your own lives in whatever way feels authentic and meaningful to you. Maybe it's taking a few minutes each morning to sit in quiet meditation, or going for a silent walk in nature, or simply pausing before responding in a conversation to really listen and reflect. Pay attention to how it feels to create those moments of stillness for yourself, and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective or experience. And if you find yourself resisting or struggling with the practice, be gentle and compassionate with yourself. Remember that, like any skill, cultivating silence takes time and patience to develop. But I promise you, the rewards are well worth the effort. By learning to embrace silence in your own life, you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibility and potential. You tap into a deeper sense of wisdom, creativity, and resilience that can guide you through even the most challenging of times. And perhaps most importantly, you send a powerful message to yourself and others about the value of taking time to pause, reflect, and simply be present in the moment. In a world that's so often focused on doing and achieving, the act of being silent can be a radical and transformative choice. So let us all commit to creating a little more space for silence in our lives, to listening more deeply to ourselves and others, to honoring the wisdom and creativity that lies within each of us. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of stillness at a time. And as we navigate this path together, let us remember the words of the great spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, who said, "Silence is the language of God, all else is poor translation." May we all learn to speak that language more fluently, and may it bring us closer to the truth of who we really are. In the end, the power of silence is not about withdrawing from the world or shutting ourselves off from others. Rather, it's about creating the space within ourselves to show up more fully and authentically in all that we do. By cultivating a practice of silence, we develop a greater capacity for compassion, both for ourselves and others. We learn to listen more deeply, to communicate more clearly, to navigate challenges with greater ease and grace. And as we begin to embody these qualities more fully, we naturally start to have a more positive impact on the world around us. We become a force for healing and transformation simply by being more present and attuned to the needs of the moment. So, my friends, I invite you to join me on this journey of discovering the power of silence. Let us be the ones who are willing to pause, to listen, to reflect, even in a world that's constantly urging us to do more and be more. Let us be the ones who have the courage to be still, to trust in the wisdom that lies within, to honor the sacred space of silence that connects us all. And let us remember that in every moment we have the choice to either react to the noise and chaos around us or to respond from a place of inner calm and clarity. May we always choose the latter, and may we inspire others to do the same. As we move forward on this path together, let us hold fast to the knowing that silence is not a weakness but a strength. It is not an absence but a fullness. It is not a void but a source of infinite possibility and potential. And may we always remember that the greatest transformations often begin in the quietest of moments, when we're willing to simply be present with ourselves and with life exactly as it is. So thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself and for the world in this way. May your practice of silence be a source of deep nourishment and renewal, and may it bring you ever closer to the truth of who you really are. Together, let us embrace the power of silence, and let us use it to create a world that is more compassionate, more connected, and more truly alive. Thank you. I stand before you today with a message that has the power to transform your life. It's not just a catchy phrase or a fleeting moment of inspiration. It's a fundamental truth that, once embraced, will set you on a path to achieving everything you've ever dreamed of. Be smart. You will get everything in life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Be smart? Is that all? I've heard that before, but let me tell you, there's a depth to this wisdom that goes far beyond what meets the eye. It's not just about intelligence or book smarts. It's about cultivating a mindset, a way of being that aligns you with the very fabric of success. Let's break this down. What does it truly mean to be smart? It's not about having all the answers or being the smartest person in the room. It's about approaching life with intentionality, with purpose, with a keen awareness of yourself and the world around you. Being smart means making conscious choices. It means understanding that every decision you make, no matter how small, is shaping your future. From the moment you wake up to the moment you lay your head down at night, you're making choices. What to eat, what to wear, how to spend your time, who to interact with, what thoughts to entertain in your mind. But it goes beyond just making good choices. Being smart means cultivating a growth mindset. It means understanding that your abilities, your intelligence, your skills, they're not fixed. They can be developed, honed, improved. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you encounter is an opportunity for growth. Think about that for a moment. Every setback, every failure, every moment of doubt, these aren't roadblocks. They're stepping stones. They're the very things that will propel you forward if you approach them with the right mindset. I remember a time in my own life when I faced a significant setback. I had poured my heart and soul into a project only to see it crumble before my eyes. It felt like the end of the world. But you know what? That moment of failure became the catalyst for my greatest success. Why? Because I chose to be smart about it. Instead of wallowing in self-pity or giving up, I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? And that shift in perspective changed everything. Being smart means being adaptable. In this rapidly changing world, the ability to adapt is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. The jobs of tomorrow haven't even been invented yet. The challenges we'll face as a society are yet to be revealed. But if you cultivate a smart approach to life, you'll be ready for whatever comes your way. It's about being a lifelong learner. Never stop seeking knowledge, never stop growing. Read voraciously, listen intently, observe keenly. The world is your classroom, and every person you meet, every experience you have, is a potential teacher. But here's the crucial part. It's not just about accumulating information. It's about applying what you learn. Knowledge without action is like a car without fuel. It might look impressive, but it won't take you anywhere. So be smart in how you apply your knowledge. Be strategic. Be intentional. Look for connections, for patterns, for opportunities where others see only obstacles. Now, let's talk about the second part of our mantra, you will get everything in life. This isn't about material possessions or external validation. It's about living a life of fulfillment, of purpose, of joy. When you approach life with intelligence, with awareness, with intentionality, you align yourself with the natural flow of success. You see, success isn't something that happens to you, it's something you create. And when you're smart about how you live your life, you're constantly creating opportunities for success. Think about it this way. When you're smart about your health, eating well, exercising regularly, managing stress, you create the conditions for physical well-being. When you're smart about your relationships, communicating openly, showing empathy, nurturing connections, you create the conditions for emotional fulfillment. When you're smart about your career, continuously learning, taking calculated risks, adding value to others, you create the conditions for professional success. When you're smart about your finances, living below your means, investing wisely, planning for the future, you create the conditions for financial freedom. But it goes beyond just creating the right conditions. Being smart means recognizing opportunities when they present themselves. It means having the courage to seize those opportunities, even when they're disguised as challenges. I've met countless individuals who have transformed their lives by embracing this principle. People who came from nothing, who faced seemingly insurmountable odds, but who chose to be smart about their approach to life. There was a woman I met, let's call her Sarah. Sarah grew up in poverty in a neighborhood where dreams were seen as luxuries, but Sarah was smart. She understood that education was her ticket out, so she studied. Not just in school, but everywhere. She read every book she could get her hands on. She sought out mentors. She asked questions. She was curious about everything. But Sarah didn't stop there. She was smart about her choices. While her peers were getting caught up in the cycle of poverty, Sarah was planning her escape. She took odd jobs, saved every penny she could. She applied for scholarships, sought out internships. She was relentless in her pursuit of a better life. Today, Sarah is a successful entrepreneur running a company that provides educational resources to underprivileged communities. She got everything she wanted in life, not because she was born into privilege, not because she was exceptionally gifted, but because she chose to be smart about her approach to life. Or consider Tom, a middle-aged man who found himself suddenly unemployed after 20 years in the same job. For many, this would be a devastating blow, but Tom chose to be smart about it. Instead of panicking or falling into depression, he saw this as an opportunity to reinvent himself. Tom took stock of his skills, his passions, his experiences. He realized that he had a wealth of knowledge that could be valuable to others. So he started a consulting business. He networked, he learned about marketing, he pushed himself out of his comfort zone. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, of fear, but Tom persisted. He was smart about how he used his time, how he managed his resources, how he built relationships. And today, Tom's business is thriving. He's not just making more money than he ever did in his old job, he's also happier, more fulfilled, more alive. These stories and countless others like them illustrate a fundamental truth. When you choose to be smart, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You create your own luck. You become the architect of your own destiny. But let me be clear, this isn't about overnight success. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes or magical thinking. Being smart is about playing the long game. It's about making choices today that will benefit you tomorrow, next year, and decades from now. It's about understanding that true success, lasting success, is built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. It's about having the patience to plant seeds today that may not bear fruit for years to come. This requires discipline. It requires perseverance. It requires the ability to delay gratification. In a world of instant everything, where we're conditioned to expect immediate results, this can be challenging. But remember, anything worth having is worth working for. Being smart means understanding the power of compounding. Just as compound interest can turn a small investment into a fortune over time, compound choices can turn small daily actions into a life of extraordinary achievement. Think about your health. One healthy meal won't transform your body. One workout won't make you fit. But a consistent commitment to healthy eating and regular exercise compounded over months and years, that will give you a level of health and vitality that will enhance every aspect of your life. The same principle applies to your mind. Reading one book won't make you a genius. Taking one course won't make you an expert. But a lifelong commitment to learning, to expanding your mind, to challenging your assumptions, that will give you a level of wisdom and insight that will set you apart in any field. Or consider your relationships. One kind act won't create a lasting bond. One deep conversation won't build a lifelong friendship. But a consistent practice of kindness, of empathy, of genuine connection, that will surround you with a network of relationships that will enrich your life in ways you can't even imagine. This is what it means to be smart. It's about understanding these fundamental principles of success and applying them consistently in your life. It's about making choices not based on short-term gratification, but on long-term fulfillment. But here's the beautiful thing: when you commit to this path, when you choose to be smart in how you live your life, you start to experience benefits almost immediately. Yes, the big payoffs may be years down the road, but you'll find that your life begins to improve in small but significant ways right from the start. You'll feel more in control. You'll have a sense of purpose, of direction. You'll start to see opportunities where before you saw only obstacles. You'll find yourself attracting positive people and experiences into your life. And as you continue on this path, as you consistently choose to be smart in your approach to life, these benefits will compound. Your sense of confidence will grow. Your ability to handle challenges will improve. Your impact on the world around you will expand. You'll start to realize that you're not just passively experiencing life, you're actively creating it. And that realization is incredibly empowering. Now, I want to address something important. When I say you will get everything in life, I'm not promising that you'll never face hardships or challenges. Life will always have its ups and downs. There will be setbacks, disappointments, moments of doubt. But when you approach life with intelligence, with awareness, with intention, you'll be equipped to handle whatever comes your way. You'll have the resilience to bounce back from setbacks. You'll have the wisdom to learn from failures. You'll have the courage to keep moving forward even when the path ahead seems uncertain. In fact, it's often in facing these challenges that we experience the most growth. It's in overcoming obstacles that we discover our true strength. It's in navigating difficult times that we develop the skills and qualities that lead to lasting success. So embrace the challenges. See them as opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming even smarter in your approach to life. Now, let's talk about what it means to get everything in life. This isn't about accumulating possessions or achieving a certain status. It's about living a life of fulfillment, of purpose, of joy. It's about waking up each morning excited about the day ahead. It's about doing work that feels meaningful, that allows you to express your unique gifts and talents. It's about having relationships that nourish your soul, that support your growth, that bring laughter and love into your life. It's about being healthy in body, mind, and spirit. It's about having the financial resources to live comfortably and to pursue your passions. It's about making a positive impact on the world around you, about leaving a legacy you can be proud of. In short, it's about living a life that feels authentic to you, a life that allows you to become the best version of yourself. And here's the thing: when you commit to being smart in how you live your life, this kind of fulfillment becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Because you're no longer leaving your life up to chance. You're no longer reacting to whatever comes your way. You're proactively creating the life you want. You're making conscious choices about how to spend your time and energy. You're continuously learning and growing. You're building meaningful relationships. You're taking care of your health. You're managing your resources wisely. You're pursuing goals that align with your values and passions. In other words, you're laying the foundation for a life of true success and fulfillment. But let me be clear, this isn't about perfection. Being smart doesn't mean never making mistakes. It doesn't mean having all the answers or always knowing exactly what to do. Being smart means being willing to learn from your mistakes. It means being open to new ideas, new perspectives. It means being humble enough to admit when you're wrong and courageous enough to change course when necessary. It means understanding that life is a journey of continuous growth and evolution. What seems smart today may not be smart tomorrow as circumstances change and new information becomes available. So being smart also means staying flexible, staying curious, staying open to change. This approach to life requires courage. It requires stepping out of your comfort zone. It requires facing your fears and confronting your limiting beliefs. You see, many of us have internalized messages that hold us back. Messages that tell us we're not good enough, smart enough, talented enough to achieve our dreams. Messages that tell us success is for other people, not for us. But these messages are lies. They're based on fear, on past experiences, on limited thinking. And when you choose to be smart, you choose to challenge these limiting beliefs. You choose to rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. This is where real transformation begins. When you start to see yourself as capable, as worthy, as deserving of success and happiness, you unleash your true potential. You start to act in alignment with this new self-image, and your actions create new results. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in the most positive sense. When you believe you can achieve great things and act accordingly, you create the very conditions that lead to great achievements. So I challenge you to examine your beliefs about yourself and your possibilities. Are they serving you? Are they empowering you to reach for your dreams? Or are they holding you back, keeping you small? If you find limiting beliefs, challenge them, question their validity, look for evidence that contradicts them. And most importantly, choose new, empowering beliefs that align with the life you want to create. This is what it means to be smart. It's not just about external actions, but about internal transformations. It's about aligning your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions with your highest aspirations. Now let's talk about the power of focus. In today's world, we're bombarded with distractions. Social media, emails, notifications, there's always something vying for our attention. And in this environment, the ability to focus becomes a superpower. Being smart means understanding the importance of focus and cultivating it deliberately. It means knowing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. It means being able to tune out the noise and concentrate on what truly matters. This applies to your goals, your relationships, your personal growth. When you're clear about what you want and you focus your energy on achieving it, you become unstoppable. You don't get sidetracked by every shiny object or temporary setback. You stay the course even when it's difficult. Focus also means being present in each moment. It's about giving your full attention to whatever you're doing, whether it's working on a project, having a conversation with a loved one, or simply enjoying a quiet moment in nature. This kind of presence, this ability to be fully engaged in your life is transformative. It allows you to experience life more deeply, to find joy in simple moments, to connect more authentically with others. And here's the beautiful thing, when you cultivate this kind of focus, when you learn to be fully present in your life, you'll find that you don't need to chase after happiness. Happiness finds you. It emerges naturally from living with intention, from being engaged in meaningful pursuits, from connecting deeply with others. This is part of what it means to get everything in life. It's not about acquiring more, but about appreciating fully what you already have. It's about finding richness and meaning in everyday experiences. Now let's talk about the power of your words and thoughts. Being smart means understanding that your internal dialogue shapes your reality. The way you talk to yourself, the stories you tell yourself about your life and your possibilities, these have a profound impact on your experiences and your outcomes. If you constantly tell yourself that life is hard, that success is out of reach, that you're not good enough, guess what? Your experiences will reflect these beliefs. You'll find evidence to support these negative narratives, and you'll create a self-fulfilling prophecy of struggle and limitation. But if you choose to be smart about your self-talk, if you consciously cultivate positive, empowering thoughts, you'll create a very different reality. When you tell yourself that you're capable, that opportunities are abundant, that you have what it takes to succeed, you'll start to see evidence of these truths in your life. This isn't about naive positivity or denying real challenges. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers you rather than defeats you. It's about framing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. Your words have power not just in your internal dialogue, but in your interactions with others as well. The way you speak, the energy you bring to your conversations, the intentions behind your words, all of these shape your relationships and your impact on the world. Being smart means choosing your words carefully. It means speaking with kindness, with authenticity, with purpose. It means using your words to uplift others, to inspire, to create positive change. Imagine the ripple effect this can have. When you choose to speak with wisdom and compassion, you not only improve your own life, but you positively influence everyone you interact with. You become a force for good in the world.